I love to use this thing. We've got 6 o'clock. Weather might change later on, so I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Let's all stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a good way.
I want to welcome everyone here. Maybe after all, we'll introduce everybody else so that we all know who we are here tonight. Or do you want to do it right now?
We can hit that later.
All right.
When we get into the task force part of the meeting.
All right. We need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We've approved our agenda. Now let's take a few minutes to look over our previous minutes so we can approve those, folks.
Well, they're reading, Steve will not be joining us tonight. He is under the weather. We have Carol, or we have Jody online, so we do have 4 out of 5. Couple that came in towards the last minute, we've got a survey draft that we'll be reviewing when we get to the task force part and explaining the state code a little easier. So if you guys want to grab those, we do have a sign-in sheet for the task force up here. And this other one is only if you plan to speak on the accessory dwelling units.
Should approve the previous minutes.
Move to approve the previous minutes.
A second.
Then moved and seconded to approve our previous minutes. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We approved our previous minutes. Opening remarks by our administrator, Laura.
Thank you all for coming tonight. We do have a public hearing first before I get into the task force. I don't foresee it going super long. We're doing an accessory dwelling unit ordinance because the state code updated last July and require us to have something to this effect in our county. So we have the draft. Looks like everybody pulled my copies out. If anybody needs to see another draft, I can either print more and can share. If you do plan to comment, I would just like you to sign in. You don't have to sign in ahead. You can sign in when you come up and talk. And then we'll get into the task force information. Tonight's just going to be more of a timeline, going through the survey draft so you can get that ready to get sent out. And possibly just see what kind of timeline we're looking at and commitment for the task force. Okay.
So we'll start out, we need a roll call to go into public hearing, right? A roll call vote
All right,
and
Carol,
motion.
or motion first, I guess.
Motion to go into public hearing,
Move the
please.
door to public hearing. Carol.
Been moved and seconded to go into public hearing, roll call vote.
Carol? Yes. Doug?
Yes.
Wade?
Yes.
Jody?
Yeah,
All right.
yes.
So we've
I'm
all
still
approved.
hearing you guys as an echo.
All right. So I can read the ordinance. If you have a printout, the sections in yellow on the first page and the second page are changes that would need to be made to the existing definitions. And other sections of the current ordinance, and the third and fourth page are the new draft. Changes would include adding a whole section for accessory dwelling unit under definitions. Means of self-contained secondary residential dwelling unit located on the same lot as a principal single-family dwelling, which may take the following forms: a detached unit, a unit that is part of an accessory structure, part of a principal dwelling, a tiny house, or a manufactured or mobile home converted to and assessed for real estate tax. The accessory dwelling unit facilities, which at a minimum bathroom and kitchen, which has accessory building size limitations. ADUs in Iowa are recommended tenant homes sharing the parcel with definition 400 be revised. One primary dwelling unit, one accessory dwelling unit attached from the primary. Section 400.7 to be combined with the 490 and 6.77 to remove word to the flat form of materials for recovery architectural sheet metal permitted. That. And in section of 400.7 added to say one except parcel where any single. The parking requirement 7 would be added to add parking that's not required. Update to Article 5 added and or one for zoning district. If new construction of the second size proportion requirements, including additional E9 unused frontage design. Somebody is please mute. For the accessory dwelling units, it would be a new article in the existing 6.1 ordinance. One, R-L, R-2, and R-3, R-3, the A, an accessory dwelling unit shall not exceed residence, whichever is larger. The calculation of square footage does not include garage use space, not whichever is larger. The calculation of square footage does not include garage use space, not whichever is larger. The square footage does not include height less than 7 feet shall not count towards 7 feet. An accessory must include and have provisions for living and sanitation. C, an accessory dwelling unit. 9 address that is separate. Single family dwelling. With certificate application. Dwelling unit shall comply with as defined in E, an accessory dwelling unit building plan shall be reviewed by the secretary to approve septic area requirements. F, if a manufactured home, a tiny home, or mobile home is used as an accessory dwelling unit, the manufactured home or mobile home shall be converted to real property by being placed on a permanent foundation and assessed for real estate taxes pursuant to Iowa Code Section 435.26. G, as a permanent address is required, park model RV units are not allowed as an accessory dwelling unit unless converted to real property by being placed on a permanent foundation and assessed for real estate taxes. 2, an accessory dwelling unit may take the following forms: a unit that is part of a principal dwelling, a detached unit, a unit that is part of an accessory structure detached from primary, also a tiny house, a manufactured house, or mobile home converted to real property by being placed on a permanent foundation and assessed for real estate taxes. C, accessory dwelling units must follow the same zoning requirements as defined for a single family dwelling unit in each respective district, including but not limited to setbacks, height, and yard ratio regulations. 4, rental use of accessory dwelling units will be required to comply with Iowa Code Chapter 331.301, subsection 18, and Iowa Code Chapter 562A. 5, additional parking for accessory dwelling units is not required but recommended. 6, an accessory dwelling unit shall have separate exterior access from any primary dwelling. 7, accessory dwelling unit may share utility lines with the primary single-family dwelling unit if full utility access that includes a separate metering system for billing purposes can be provided to the accessory dwelling unit. 7A, if a full utility access that includes a separate metering system for billing purposes cannot be provided to the accessory dwelling unit, then new or separate utility lines are recommended. 8, the application for zoning certificate is required to build or convert an accessory dwelling unit. The application form is the same as standard permit applications. The square footage of both the primary dwelling unit and the accessory dwelling unit will need to be provided when applying for an accessory dwelling unit. 8A, applications must be submitted by the landowner, approved trustee, or contractor. If application is submitted by a contractor, all contact information for the landowner or trustee must be provided.
Thank you for reading all that, Laura.
Yes, I did include for you guys, an email that I got back from Jacob Reineke, the E911 director. He got back to me after our last, this for you last time. He agreed that he thinks ADU should require an E911 sign be placed on the property that the ADU is located. He did also say if they plan to create this for an Airbnb or some other rental, it'd be nice to have that stated so they can mark it in their system. I'm not sure how we could require that, but if it's something that you would like to try to add, you could try to revise that and then on this to another public hearing. He did then saying he supports us completely and appreciates us checking with them about the evening one.
Good. Question up on, number 4, rentals, accessory units dwelling are required to comply with Iowa Code 33130, said section 18. What was that? What did that refer to?
The Iowa code just has, regulations for rental units as far as what you need to provide between renter and rentee and stuff like that, that we don't regulate at the county level. Does anybody want to speak for this?
Sure. Scott Snyder, include here. From what my understanding then is if I want to build a small house up on my son's property, I can build a small house there. And then hook up to his electricity if I want to, not recommended,
Right.
but I can. And how many dwellings can you put on an acre? Or how many acres? It's not specified, right? So I can open a trailer park on my little property down here north of Cloutier on 5 acres and move in 5 trailers and run some septic and hook all the power up to my own meter. And
That would not be part of this. That would be separate with the trailer park. For the accessory dwelling, you can only have one accessory dwelling unit with one primary.
okay, so then I can only have one. That's good. Otherwise I could open a trailer park. All right, I was just curious. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Rob?
Will be there. I guess the only comment on the, on an accessory, you talk about a lot, but you don't say how big the lot is. So like he was saying, if I have 40 acres, there's 2 dwellings on that, is that, or is that with 2 dwellings on it, is that an accessory or is that 2 units?
The current ordinance only allows one dwelling per parcel. This ADU would add a secondary unit is allowable. It has to be within the size of
That's what I was wondering.
50% of the primary or,
Did I miss that?
yeah. No, I read those. It's on the 3rd page. Number 1. 1A. It's not to exceed 1,000 square
Oh,
feet
there
or
it is. I'm
50% the size of a single family residence.
Okay, I missed it. Thank you.
So if you have 2 smaller homes, the most you could go would be 1,000 square feet. If you have one very large home, The largest, the small one could be is 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
Or 50% of the size, of it, whichever is larger. So if you have a very large home, your accessory dwelling unit would still be 50% of the square footage of a large home. If you have a smaller home, it could be up to 1,000 square feet, if that's large. That makes sense. And then you still have the setback regulation. So if it's a very small parcel, you'd be constrained to all the other setback regulations of our zoning ordinance. If it's a 40-acre parcel, that's also why we included the E911 part, because it could be anywhere in that quarter mile.
This is a lot to absorb. If there's any other questions or comments, we welcome them.
And this will still need to go through public hearing with the Board of Supervisors, so if you do read this, and if they make any changes, or if they don't, they will still have another public hearing, so you can raise concerns with them at another time. This will be their recommendation to the supervisors for an ordinance.
Any other comments or questions?
There are no chats online either.
Well, if there are no more comments or questions, we can close this hearing, right, Laura? So we're still in closed session, aren't we? Yeah, motion and second to close the hearing and then a roll call vote. She moved to close the hearing.
I second.
So it's been moved and seconded to close the hearing. Roll call vote on that.
Carol,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Jody, okay, well, that's still 3 out of 4.
Got 3
so-
to 4.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Moving on, you guys have the choice to revise this or recommend the draft to the Board of Supervisors.
I don't know what you want to do, but
All right. Wade, do you see where we'd make any changes or should we recommend it as it is? Hope so.
Everything we discussed last night.
That's the agreement. We will go ahead and forward this, have Laura forward this to the Board of Supervisors, right? We need to sign
We need a motion and a second and a roll call to recommend it.
to recommend it to the Board of Supervisors, all right?
Board of Supervisors.
second.
Then moved and seconded,
Carol,
Yes.
Doug,
yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Jody, are you online again? She is not online at
Can
all.
you see her?
Nope, she logged off. Okay, we still have 3 out of 5, so we will consider that.
So we've approved to send it over on ahead to the Board of Supervisors. We're ready for number 8, aren't we?
We are ready for the land use plan discussion. So again, thank you all for coming. None of you have anything you want to say?
If you're all here for the land use plan, I welcome you to stay. If you're not, and you want to leave, you're welcome to leave at any time.
I think everybody's here for the land use plan.
All right. And, are all these folks interested in serving on the task force? Is that something I need to ask them?
Something you probably need to ask them.
I'm interested in learning more about it before I decide if I'm gonna join.
That was Lisa Cheezick. All right, well, I guess for now, let's just say I will be collecting contact information and emailing out information until somebody tells me they don't want to be included anymore. Do we want to have a specific list of task force people included or kind of leave it fluid?
Maybe some will back out when they find out how deep and detailed we gotta get into it. You know, this is new to all of us. So I think maybe the best bet is to first have everybody stand up and introduce themselves real quickly. And then we'll move on with, into this task force, all right? Young, sure, start at the front, please.
Early Mulder.
Well, leader.
Yeah, sure, both.
Scott Snyder,
Jacqueline Snyder.
Patrick Cornwall.
That's right. Curtis Barron's also your conservation director.
Chris Barron's also environmental health officer here.
Bill Bondridge, superintendent, Bob Grande.
What was your first name?
Caleb.
Caleb. All right, thank you, Caleb.
Karen Gordon. And then online, we also have, Stacy, the public health director, Lisa, Andrea, and Linda. So. We were originally planning to have Region 6 help us through our journey. If anyone was listening to the Board of Supervisors meeting in December, they decided to decline the contract with Region 6 because they believe they can get the state legislature to repeal the law that requires us to have this. However, Heather and I think some of the others did believe it was a good idea to keep working on it as it is currently a law. There's no guarantee it'll get repealed, and we do need this in place. We have been advised to have this in place, or it could undermine any new or revised ordinances related to zoning that we try to push through in this county. That would include the industrial wind, the industrial solar, this ADU ordinance that we talked about tonight, any new ordinances that they push through the legislature this year. Not every county has gone through this, and there have been a few. I do have a few examples that I've found online. They're pretty easy to look up if you search comprehensive land use plan and just like pick a county. They might have slightly different titles, but it's fairly similar. They range anywhere from, what was it, Doug, 66 was the lowest to 260 in
Pages.
size, in pages. Basically, it's like a college level book report on them. So it includes getting public input, it includes a survey, which, I had copies for you guys. We went through the survey draft last November, and already went through some revisions, but since you're all here, we would like to get input on if you think anything needs to be reworded, if you think anything needs to be removed or added. We did include the first line where it asks for name and address, just because we are planning to have it both online and physical copies, because there are people that still don't do a lot of online things, and we'd like everyone to be included if possible, but we don't want to have duplicates. So that's why we included that section. I believe it was mentioned SurveyMonkey would be the outlet that we would want to try to use. I think Steve was familiar with it. He originally compiled these questions by looking through other counties, and then we added a few or revised a few. We would probably have this out for about a month in the county. We would want to have hard copies at all the banks and possibly some of the grocery stores. We would want to include the high school seniors at all the school districts that seniors in the county. And what am I missing? We discussed. Which was there,
Schools, banks. You've covered them.
maybe
Anybody else?
churches, I don't know. And then we would push to have the county social media pages, have the link to the survey as well, just because I know sheriff's office has pretty good reach with their social media, and I'm sure some others have decent reach. I do not have social media for zoning. Don't know if I want it.
Right,
The Iowa State University Extension and Outreach, did a summary, I guess, of the Iowa State Code, making it more readable. So that's what this packet is for you guys. It's 3 different sections. It includes, Jody's back. It includes the purpose of a comprehensive plan. It includes section 18B1, which is what we can consider when we're doing it, and then section 18B2, which we're required to include if we're doing a comprehensive plan. Some counties don't do a comprehensive land use plan because they don't do county zoning. Since we do have zoning, yeah, like Benton County doesn't have zoning. I don't think Iowa County has zoning. Yeah. Been told it's like the Wild West. But since we do have zoning, for the Iowa code, we're required to have this land use plan. That's why we're doing it basically. And then, I guess that's pretty much the overview. So since Region 6 isn't helping, it's gonna be more on me and the zoning members and anyone else that's willing to put in the time for the task force.
Just find out what everybody's, why they're here, why they thought it was,
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
we're on the same page or.
Right, or any questions that you might have, because I'm always full of questions when something new comes up and I want to know what I'm getting into, and I'm sure some of you are sitting there thinking the same thing. So, Al, you raised your hand.
Well, I was just gonna say that we currently have a land use plan in the county that was made back in the 90s. And it was approved by the supervisors, so we have that plan to fall back on in case the supervisor, the legislature says we don't have to do this. And as we go through this, we need to check with the old land use plan, and then a lot of it's gonna fit right in here, I'm sure. And we can always add to that to make the conservation plan.
Yes, with that land use plan, it was reapproved last year. And then after I took office and we were trying to, cover our bases with the solar ordinance that that they had approved. We were advised that that was not sufficient enough because it didn't include everything from the 18B2, all the 13 elements of a comprehensive land use plan. So while we do have that, and it has been in place since 1986, and it's not considered sufficient to cover the state code. So
I'm
that's
sure they'll say we'll add to it. We can go down this, and then when we get to each item here, we'll add that to that plan because that part of it's good. We'll just add to it.
yeah, I can print some copies of that we can review after you guys go through talking with everybody, so.
And if there's something in there we want to change, we could make that change also that's due to update it.
How many,
At least it's a good place to start
right,
and see what somebody else thought about it a while back. And then take the information we're here to work with and add to it.
I was curious, how many of you here, did any of you have a chance to read through any of the other county land use plans, comprehensive land use plans, if I could see a show of hands?
Well, I didn't read 200 pages.
No, but
I'm aware that what's
a
there.
couple of you did. I mean, I can see where there's an advantage to having it. It's kind of, if someone's moving into the county or they're curious about the county or what we have to offer, there's a lot of information in some of those, isn't there?
And also be used as a guidance for zoning, your commission, any future commissions that would be revising or creating ordinances. It would be more of a reference.
I mean, kind of my feeling is if Region 6 was going to do it and they were going to do all the research and you pay $10,000 and put it on shelf, yeah, probably not worth it. But then I got to thinking, if the people who live in the county are contributing to it, then it really means something to us. And then I was at a meeting and someone was talking about land use, and I've just been in various situations where I thought, it would be really good to have some outside input just to expand our ideas, whether we use it or not, but just to really think about what we could do with our land. So I people want to put the time in and it's hours and I think it's important.
Right.
So do you guys want to go around and kind of do more than just introduce your name and I mean, Chris and Curtis both said a little bit more, but the rest of you, maybe what you might be able to contribute?
Yes, I did, in my position, I'm West Road, I'm the county assessor. I work the board pretty closely with the reps and commission as well. Basically, the reason I'm here is Laura kind of asked me, but I'd be interested in serving on I said I would maybe more as an ad hoc member to kind of, questions that you have related to our department. I'd be willing to, work in advisory as.
Appreciate that. Curtis, is it?
Say more on just kind of myself too. Very interested in being part of this, better look forward to shape the case, I think. I mean, if you run through the bullets, a lot of the natural resource protecting the waterways, that's my job, that's my department. So it's just to be true and go the direction we're taking some of this and kind of encourage you guys certain directions too. So
All right.
I've got a bunch of consulting and development experience out of the Chicagoland area prior to this job. So I've seen a lot of these comprehensive plans. I've worked with a lot of different city governments. I've written ordinance. So I'm hoping I can lend some of that experience to this as well.
Good. Chris.
Yeah, I was Chris Barons here for environmental health. Fancy name for sanitarian, so I deal a lot with septic permits. Is probably 70 to 80% of my job, but also well permits. So very much concerned about our resources and how we treat them and how we go forward with that. I also sit on the conservation board. And I also was elected to the Soil and Water Conservation Board here in Tama County too, so, and have personal interest, so I feel like I have some value to lend to this task force.
And the three gentlemen from the county, they also get all over the county. So I mean, I know Barron's is everywhere and Wes, you may not go out on your physically anymore, but you've got that eye out there, all corners of the county. Yeah, so, we did, everyone who's here, we did invite all of the departments of the county. These three were the only ones, well, and Stacy's online too, she's public health. They were the only ones that did get back to me, so I don't know if more people will join later, or if they just didn't feel this was a commitment they wanted to hit. We invited, all of the city councils, because cities are a part of the county. Nobody responded from them, but that might be something that joins later. We invited a representative of Meskwaki, who I believe she might be online as well. Because they're a big part of our county. We did send out invitations to the banks, the schools, people that we thought we knew had backgrounds, and we're like, if you know somebody else, just pass it along, so.
All right.
My name's Rob Woolgeter, and I've been a certified commercial appraiser for about 30 plus years. So I've been dealing with real estate and I'm a realtor for about 30 plus years. I served on the zoning board for city of Tama I worked for a while there, it seemed like. I feel I'd have some input to it, so anyway, that's where I'm at.
Now?
I'm a conservation farmer. I don't tell and use cover crops and have waterways. Something they don't have to do on my farm because it's not as hilly as some, but I'm very much involved. I was involved when the nutrient reduction strategy started about 11 years ago. I have a plaque for being an environmental farmer. I was involved when Benton County wrote their land use ordinance about 20 years ago. And just due to the fact that I'm very interested in what happens to the land and the quality of the water, I believe I have something to put in here.
Thank you.
Jackie or Scott, wanna go next?
We just come to see what's happening.
Okay.
That's fine.
What he said.
What do you say? And Caleb, right?
Yep. I'd say some big things for me, especially from a school district lens, like the housing element's always something that we're looking at, across the whole district. GR dips into 4 different counties, so it's something that, we really try to pay attention to. Especially, our unique, situation, a lot of our Glenbrook students also go into GMG and stuff too. GMG has a pretty significant presence within, Tama County as well. And so rural schools, we need really good support structures when it comes to housing. And then just some of the other, like the economic development, things like that. Want to make sure that as a school district, we can do our part to help support those things while also provide feedback on what can help us continue to grow and help bring students into our area as well. So.
Karen?
So I'm deeply interested in conservation as well and land use and kind of my long line of farmers, like just about everybody else here probably, but really interested in what's going on in Tama County, and the best way to know what's going on is to attend and be there. That's the best way to know.
So I don't know if you want to break up into smaller groups and just discuss the survey, or if you guys want to just speak up, raise your hands. It might be a conversation if it's bringing you guys together. How you?
What if we just go through it? Everybody got a copy of the survey? If we,
Do I need to print more? At least one. That's the last one.
Yeah, I think so.
Did everybody get one? I can print more if you need to.
Sure.
Okay. So I already addressed the first one, why we asked for, was it last, sorry. So why we asked for the name and address, and I did write it on there to help confirm individual submissions without duplicates. I know a lot of people are against providing that information. But since we're doing it both online and hard copy, I feel like that'd be something we're gonna try to prevent.
so as we go through this, let's just take it a page at a time or a question at a time. If this first page is pretty self-explanatory, but anybody that has suggestions that we should put in here other than what we've got or different answers, feel free to raise your hand and blurt it out.
Raise your hand and blurt it out.
Raise your hand and speak.
That's the school teacher. Hey, that's what happens in class though, right? They raise their hand and blurt.
There's no raising hands.
Page one is pretty self-explanatory. Page two, number 5 and 6. Anybody see anything we ought to add or to take out of there?
And I guess as you're looking at this, if a question doesn't make sense, we need to know that too.
Right.
I have one thing to add.
Yes, Karen?
On number 5, some people may scoff at D, access to jobs and services, but we're kind of in a special area here where if you drive an hour, you can just get anywhere. I mean, you can get anywhere. So that may not see, it may not seem like a big deal when you read over that and then you start, if you think about it, it's a real big deal. Because sometimes when you live on one side of the Moines and your job's on the other, you're gonna drive, you may be in your car for an hour and a half. So, I don't know if I just wanted to give that special attention, I think.
All right, thank you. Do we need to add anything on number 6? Does anybody feel?
So back to Karen's though, do we need to change that?
I think she just thinks it's important to have it in there, is what she's
I
saying.
do, I just didn't know if it could have any, a little bit of. If it should be elaborated on just a little bit for that, definition or understanding, I wasn't sure. Because a lot of people think that we live in no place, you know, just so far from everywhere, but we're not so far from everywhere. You got good roads after 63 gets done being tore up, we'll have good roads just about everywhere.
So you want to add within an hour's travel time?
So everywhere.
Well, you have access to jobs and services within an hour's travel time.
We could do that,
We do live out in the middle of nowhere.
right?
Sounds good.
All right. That sound good to the zoning people here too, folks? Sounds good to me, Laura.
What was that change? I'm sorry, I was trying to.
Within an access to job and services within an hour of driving time. Right, Scott?
Even hospitals
Yeah.
and doctors, yeah, we're in a really good area.
What number was that?
That was to add to
5D, second page, but behind the first page.
Access to jobs and services, what?
Within an hour driving time?
Yeah.
Within an hour. Standing time. Okay, yeah, we can have it.
And on new roads as well, because they are all four of them are gonna be new before this is said and done. An amazing thing.
I guess I'd like to say on number 6, if you have a level of concern not at all slightly moderate, I'd like to have another column be a lot concerned or a maximum concern. Moderately don't quite cut it. If you're really concerned about something, then ought to be another column in there.
Strongly,
Rename the 3,
I agree.
not at all, and moderate, and then
Str-
a lot or maximum or
strongly concerned, that work, Al?
Have a fourth one, strongly
Yeah.
concerned.
however you wanna do it, or just rename the third one. And, you know, whatever, but if this is.
I,
I think Curtis had his hand up, didn't you, Kurt?
Yeah, a super small suggestion for C, if you wanna just maybe. Wrong places is rubbing me wrong for some reason, I don't know. You just keep it as just business industry locations for just business industry.
Yeah, locations,
Local
maybe.
locations.
Better too, 'cause
Okay,
We want to have another option with like access to high quality education.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
But there are some questions farther on that have to do with education, you know, things, but it could be there too. Right, to see what it, I think pretty sure I come by it. I did too, something like that.
let's scribble it in and then go back to it if we don't need to, or if we do need to, huh? As far as access to education. Quality education,
Well, I think it's good to put it there because it should be a concern.
yes. All right,
I think 17 has something about education, doesn't it?
what number are we just on about the access to education?
6,
Six still?
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
And I think it's okay there, even if it's on 17, because this is about level of concern.
Yeah.
That's different than what 17 is asking.
Peer education, we'll add that to 6.
Right. Any other concerns on 6, or should move to 7?
Be going to put, age in this application as far as a certain age to certain age to check the box. I can see in 7 different ages. I think
Right,
Absolutely. I think that's a good
Did
idea.
we want that, add one up front,
Yeah, that'd be-
age range?
Yeah.
Okay,
good idea.
after zip code and before do you live? Between 2 and 3?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Age range, since we weren't planning to send it out to anyone under seniors. Caleb, would that be 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds?
Yeah, it'd be 17, would be seniors or older.
Okay, and then if they're younger, they could,
Yeah.
figure it out. So do we want like 17 to 20? And then you're getting into upper college and be 20 to 25 would be right out of college.
Yeah. Yeah.
17
Yeah,
to 20.
2021, you could be graduating with like an AA degree, something like that too, so.
Then we'll say 17 to 20, 21 to 25. 26 to 30, just make it a 5-year,
Yeah.
or do we wanna do 10, 26 to 35?
Yeah.
That'd be young adults, young families,
Yeah.
26 to 35.
Yes.
Gonna have an awful lot of columns if we don't go 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna get you really messed up. You want
So-
it 3, 4,
35 to.
Should we just keep all young adults together, 17 to 25, and then do
Yeah,
26 to 35? That be splitting enough?
I
You
think
could
so.
do that because a lot of that age bracket is still in some school somewhere.
Yeah.
Getting advanced education.
So 17 to 25, and then you said 26 to 40?
I totally support, yeah, I mean, that's families,
Yeah.
Yep, that
Yeah.
sounds good.
got kids.
Otherwise,
Forty
we're gonna
to 65 and
Don't follow
65,
that anymore.
40 to 65 and 65 plus.
41 to 65,
Oh, yeah.
and then 65 plus.
There you go.
Okay, that's 4 categories. That seems reasonable.
That's enough.
Sounds good.
So if you're splitting it up in age levels, then when you get to 7, do you need to split up senior housing and accessible housing? Because that's gonna be 2 different
That is
things.
2 different things.
Yeah,
Okay, senior housing. Separate accessible housing.
You have another question. Seven, congratulations.
Sure.
It doesn't mean it's stupid as a conservation director. But what is a conservation subdivision?
Where do we pull that out of? I wonder, Laura.
Should answer that.
Which one's 7?
7, G, what is conservation subdivision?
I think Steve pulled that out of another, I don't think we created that.
Let's see what Google says.
For example, just, I'm not the general public's gonna know what that is. It's something I find-
That might be more like from, I know Story County having a land use plan out there, so it might be more like you said, like
the
a
word conservation don't really go with it. Could be just subdivision and homes. But it's,
All right, a conservation subdivision, also called a cluster development, clusters homes on smaller lots to preserve a large portion of land as permanent open space for recreation, wildlife, scenery, or agriculture, maintaining the overall development density, but protecting natural features like wetlands, forests, and floodplains. This design reduces infrastructure needs, manages stormwater better, and provides residents with greater access to nature compared to conventional subdivisions where houses are spread out. So it sounds like it's just like a subdivision, but it's on the conservation side of it, which I've never heard of. Sounds nice.
Does that make any sense to you, Curtis?
Yeah, I guess I should have known about that.
Do we need to explain that more?
Right.
Yeah, Google like trailers, west, that division there in trailer. They kind of got that little area down there. They have, I don't know, like a little park area type. That's what I'm thinking that.
That
they're talking-
prairie.
Yeah, that little prairie down there.
Or could it just be more general in here, like housing with more green space, so that, I mean,
Like-
this isn't the place to get real.
like
detail.
percentage of ratio of housing, so it's like if you're in town. You know, because in the country where you've got.
I didn't know if you wanted to say like sustainable development. I know you have sustainable family farming, which is.
That's a good sustainable housing development.
I don't know, when people have to Google that too, though, because I don't have to Google it too, they will use though.
Sure.
What do you think?
Well, yeah.
What is it?
What is it?
We
What's
could
that?
still include the homeless portion of open space, but change it to sustainable development instead of conservation. subdivisions. Does that work?
Like that.
Use a word for another, I don't know. I kind of like.
Because it sounds-
Sustainable housing development to me, kind of. Also being understand it's not housing, but it's also looking at the land conservation stuff too.
Sustainable housing developments.
Is meeting
not like
present
it's gonna build a
needs
house.
without compromising future generations.
What do you guys think about that? Sustainable housing development
Protection.
instead of conservation subdivision.
Is that something that is, you know, I mean, if you Google that, like, there's an explanation. of what
She
it-
found it. Yeah, Carol found something on
Well-
sustainable housing developments.
It actually was something that the UN adopted in 2015, and it was, they said things like no poverty and zero hunger, good health and quality education, clean water. These were just all parts of the sustainable development. So my guess is a lot of it is just it's a smaller community relying on themselves. You probably have it's almost like having an HOA. I'm sure you have minimum standards of things that you can or cannot do if you do something like
I
that.
think the
Never heard
conservation,
anything nice about an HOA though, so I think.
Well, no, I'm saying HOA in the terms of if you're if this is a conservation subdivision, I would imagine they're not gonna let you have an 8,000 square foot house that's gonna use, I would assume that what you're doing is you are living sustainably.
Wouldn't Hickory Hollow be an example of this? Up there north of Dyser, by Geneseo, would Hickory Hollow qualify?
Hickory Hills.
No, Hickory Hollow where the housings are around there, but yeah, just right by Hickory Hills,
Yeah,
right,
there
right.
are 3 to 5 acre lots with a lot of trees and open spaces. And you can, on the picture up there, you can see it. And it's open and
We
a
could
lot of
make it,
deer.
So the reader could understand it, would it be a better rural subdivisions?
Well, I think from what Carol read there is a definition for that. And that is what, I think that is
Sustainable housing development,
the
or what do you think?
conservation.
the difference in my mind would be with rural subdivisions, I'm thinking like the one near Traer, and there's some plots in other areas of the county that haven't been developed, but they don't take into account the open space. They are just,
Right,
they're
Right.
making it like
a subdivision.
yeah, but not accounting for conservation.
The conservation subdivision is something specific. Which it does, like Hickory Hollow, it does have the open spaces and.
So do we want to change it away from
Can I
conservation?
just say, I think if it's confusing to us.
It's like, yeah.
That's a good idea.
It will have,
Point.
it's less
Wouldn't this
confusing.
excuse me, wouldn't this circle back to private property owners, whether it be farmers or investors, whatever, that own the land? I mean, you can't just willy-nilly go out and say, okay, we're gonna put a conservation subdivision here when the land belongs to somebody else. I mean, there's only a finite amount of land. So somebody would have to be willing to sell the land in a large quantity for this to even be a subdivision. That's why I don't know, are you talking like adding on to a town, or where are we going with this?
I guess the word subdivision is confusing to me. That means something right next to a city. And I guess a conservation area would make more sense to me because that word doesn't, I don't think it fits. It doesn't fit our area.
Well, we do have a subdivision ordinance in the county, not in the cities, but if you divide a quarter section of land more than
That's what it's called.
twice, it's
That's what
considered
called.
subdivision.
I'm not familiar with those terms.
Right. So, there are some exceptions that the county does if it's kept in the family and it's more used for heirs and they're not building on every section of it. Like you'll see, if you look at the GIS, you'll see a lot of plots where they're like, rectangular lines and all that.
So is this box come down here gonna be for comments?
It's for other, please specify.
Okay, so if we just take conservation subdivisions out, which is confusing everybody.
Yep.
And then if it says other, if somebody wants to say, hey, I'd like to see a conservation subdivision,
Yeah.
they can write it right there.
That's an idea. Curtis?
With that, I totally agree. 'Cause I think we're just getting into like wanting to, it sounds like planned green spaces within a specific concept. So I think if we just take it out, would you be open to adding parks, trails, river access and green spaces in E?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sure.
we can add green spaces to
yeah,
E.
it makes more sense.
Green spaces and then remove G.
Yeah,
Eliminate.
Wipe out G.
and then people can just for other, if they have something to say, they can put it down.
That's too, man.
Yes.
Is this area yet, since this is a 10-year, future looking plan, is this area interested yet? Or will it be soon in gated communities or condo type things because of the way the world is going?
In the country?
Anywhere. We're talking this area, we're talking Tama County, we're talking about our land use plan. I don't know. I'm just throwing it up there.
Well, I have heard a lot of people in the country are gating off their access to their houses, so. Technically, it's kind of, if you want to, you can gate it on. Is that something we would want to add to 7 or somewhere else in the draft?
Not necessarily, Scott.
Well, you're kind of talking about 15-minute city where they come in and build a huge apartment complexes in your town and everything else. And they take everybody to the country and they force them to live in a 15-minute city and they can't go anywhere that's more than 15 minutes away. They're doing it all over the place.
Yeah.
You see it in Cedar Falls, Waterloo, Hudson. Who's gonna fill all these apartments? Well, me, you. They're gonna get you out of your country house and they're gonna put you in there because you waste too much fuel driving to your job.
You got it.
You know, that's the whole concept out there right now, is to get people in a controllable green space,
Well, it's sustainable
sustainable development to give you,
That they can walk to work.
yes,
No driving or
and
nothing.
groceries and everything else, and
Yeah,
we won't waste.
I'm tending to think, keep it like we got it, leave the G out of there and other can be put in other if they have other ideas.
Add green spaces.
But then add,
Yes.
the green.
Add green spaces to E, yes, like Curtis.
And we are splitting up A into 2 different sections, senior
Yeah.
housing
Right.
and accessible housing separate.
Right. Let's move on to A.
This is a picky thing, but instead of saying where should, could it be where would you prefer? Because should, I don't know. I mean, we're trying to check out people's preference, not a should or a.
So where would you prefer most development go?
that was our goal when we wrote that Benton County was to have people do their building of businesses and stuff next to a city rather than out in the country so that Chris doesn't have to have that many more seepage beds out in the country, and it all ties into the city sewer. That was our plan when we made it 20 years ago, was to try and have people build next to a city. That was our goal. But I'm not saying that's this goal, but that's, and the one there said.
Backfiring on cities that they need to totally redo their sewage system and costing the cities millions. I don't know that that's something we want to encourage.
Do you need to specify what kind of development you're talking about, whether it's residential, industrial, or are you just gonna go any kind of development?
Good point.
We could split it into 2 different line items, have one for housing and one for industrial,
Good,
but there's other kinds of development besides those 2.
all right.
It's not just industrial, commercial,
There you go.
because it's 2 different things, really.
So we could make one question for commercial development, and one for residential housing development? or-
Say residential and then have commercial / industrial. But what I'm saying is commercial and industrial are 2 different things. Industrial is to be where you're manufacturing something, where commercial is gonna be
Where you're
you're
selling.
actually selling something, whether it's, food, service related.
Right.
So is making 2 questions out of it the right way to go, or
We'd have to do like 3.
Do that, you have to do 3.
3?
You don't think you could have commercial / industrial together?
Yeah, they're like, they definitely.
Well, you don't want to build stuff where you're selling it usually, do you? You don't want people going down to the paper mill to buy their stationery.
Well, I'm just thinking, a lot of our smaller town areas, just like you're in here. You know, you might have the mattress factories, but then right up the road, you've got some of the restaurants and the hotels and stuff, so I mean. Ideally, yeah, if you have an industrial park.
We could combine commercial and industrial.
I just think that,
That would probably be the most logical.
I think you need to have the word commercial in there though, because in industrial are 2 different animals.
Yes, they are.
So add a second question, where would you prefer most new commercial / industrial developments go? Would we have the same options for that?
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't think that part's gonna matter much.
Well, like around job centers, industrial park. That may not be where you want the commercial stuff, but it's where you want the industrial stuff. But I mean, it really is three separate entities.
Pretty easy copy paste, make three.
What was that, Chris?
It's just an easy copy paste to make three.
Make three and
So there are currently only 19 questions in the survey. It's not like it's a 120 question survey and we're just adding on. So I don't know that adding two more would kill anybody or turn them off from answering. So, I mean, is anybody opposed to having them split out, residential, commercial, and industrial? Have three?
That's a good idea.
You might have to
Okay.
clarify what the differences are in the survey.
What if you left the question the way it is, take the little boxes off by the A, B, C, D, whatever, and then put 3 columns, residential, commercial, industrial, decided. And then people could check, you know, in near cities and towns, okay, yeah, I think residential, commercial could go there, major highways, industrial there, you know what I mean? Instead of making a whole new question, just maybe put a couple of columns off to the side and, you know, check whatever they thought would work. I don't know. Would that be doable? Instead of adding more questions?
Logistically hard to get answers off of a survey from, because you're multiplying, picking 2 per thing times 3 different columns.
Right here.
I'd rather have the separate questions than have extra columns on that.
Okay.
But it's a good idea.
All right, so let's just do that for extra questions.
yep, yeah.
Sounds good.
Number 9.
If I remember right, these questions aren't ones, these aren't our questions. I think we pulled all these from.
There might have been a couple that we added ourselves,
But most of these were from another
most of
survey.
these Steve got from somebody else.
Yeah,
I know we already changed them, took some wording out,
Right.
reworded some, took some options out, but yeah, most of the base questions were from Steve. I think like the ones we added were all at the beginning about names and zip codes and do you live in county.
I really don't understand the.
So for protecting, I'm guessing the county, farmland, guessing
Yeah.
farmland.
I think this one is more like, and it kind of goes back to you thinking about solar and wind and things like that. If you're talking about growth, what's more important? Do you want things to grow or are you wanting to protect things? So if there's a conflict between growth and protection, what's your preference? What do you pick?
Or what if we'd have them, put them in order of importance? Would that be better? Instead of just picking one? I don't, pardon me, pick your top 3?
I found a spot. We can make number 9 like number 11 and do a rate it. 1 is not important, 5 is the most important. Yes, I realize there's a spelling error in 11, fix that. But we could make it like that type of choice up for number 9. And then put the protect farmland next to protect natural areas and water, and then have the adding, bringing and improving after that, so that they're kind of grouped better together. Nine and 11.
I feel for that.
Otherwise, I think what people might do is just check 3 boxes.
Should we
There might
group,
be 3 different things that are equal in their minds.
should we group number 11 up with number 9? We do like 9, 11, 10 for order? Cause I mean, they're all kind of,
Tied together.
I like that.
Yes.
well, I don't know about number 10, but at least move number 11, the farmland and natural resources up after number 9.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
then they'll be formatted together and they're very kind of similar rating. So instead of a select 1 for number 9, it'll be rate each one.
But aren't 9 and 11 a lot alike and 9 and 10 a lot? I mean, couldn't you almost eliminate one question there altogether and put you protect your farmland with farmland preservation? That's the same. Same with your housing choices, move that into 10. Jobs and industry, well, if you can go either probably back there with your housing. Natural areas would be farmland, natural resources. And roads and safety, that again would be with your, I don't know, housing, I guess. I mean, you can almost eliminate one question there and do your 1 through 5, rated accordingly. Because you're duplicating so much there. Protect farmland, farmland preservation, housing choices. Then you got that single family homes, rental options, senior housing, all that. It's all kind of the same.
I think 9 and 10 separate, but I could see maybe rolling in the same questions from 11 into number 9 with the growth and protection.
Right.
If we're making 9.
Rob?
My thought is on 9, I think, I don't know, I'm thinking that the purpose of that is to select what you feel most important. By numbering 1 through 5, if a person put 5 on A and B, what is that telling you?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's more
I
to,
think they should be numbered, what's most important. If you have to make a decision between A and B, which would you rather do?
Mm-hmm.
I feel both A and B are important, so would I put 5 on both A and B?
so instead of having the 1 through 5, like number 11 has,
Put it
say,
in your,
rate A through E
right, so you know which,
in importance 1 through 5.
that's what,
Okay. I like that. A through E, and then still keep number 11 separate with a how important is it?
yeah.
Okay. 1 through 5.
Yeah, great.
That is something we could do with the survey, right? Have it do 1 through 5.
Yeah.
How do you word that so that they only pick? So they're not saying like 2 of these are number 1.
Number 1 through 5.
In level of importance, in level
Yeah.
of importance.
Yeah.
You don't have to take that to mean you only get to do one number 1.
Importance.
You
Okay.
have a question, Wade?
Do we want to add anything to number 9? Make it more than 5 options, or is that enough options?
I think 5 is probably good.
Okay.
Looks good.
You get too many and people stop reading.
We do have quite a few options in some of these selections. And then we'll leave 11 in the same format that it is, but just move it up so it's next to number 9.
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure what's the number 10, what move up single family homes is. Does anybody know? Does anybody know what a move up single family home is?
We were just talking about that. You got to show me on the phone.
I had to look it up, yeah, it's, basically, it's more expensive, it's bigger, you're moving up from your starter
to,
yeah.
second.
I was just gonna say, I agree with Patrick. I think that's a term that's gonna confuse most of the general.
So how can we change that?
Well, is it even important?
Couldn't that be like a home where your basement's not quite finished and your upstairs isn't quite finished, and so that's how my home was when I moved into it. I mean, we just had to really revamp it. The space was there, the square footage was there. But we took it from a 3-person home to a family. And isn't that what a move up home is?
Well, I think what it's referring to is, like when you have a starter home, I'll say maybe you had
Right.
a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
So it's a move up.
I lived in town and then I stepped up and lived in.
The starter home.
Yeah.
So
Two bedrooms.
shouldn't that just be housing in general, just homes?
I'd say this, like, when I look at our district, this is probably one of the areas we need the most of, is like, and essentially what it comes down to is there's not a lot of like $200,000 to $300,000 homes that people are wanting to move into. So they're staying in homes that they may sell for $150,000 to $200,000. That's what young families are looking to buy and purchase. So we don't have enough of that second tier of housing that people are looking to move into after a starter home to then free up those move-in and starter homes that we get young families into right away. If that makes sense.
So what about the term B? Yeah.
Affordable.
So
Mid-size homes?
Well.
Sometimes you can go by bedroom count. That'll kick you up into a starter, from a starter home to a second home.
If you go on,
That'd be 3 bedroom.
but I think you could even say we need like starter homes or like second to third homes.
If we have starter homes
That
as
could
a
be
separate option, that would indicate what the other one is.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think if you go to Zillow or Realtor.com, stuff like that, the move up single family homes is pretty prevalent. I think people looking for houses pretty used to that term.
But if you're taking a survey and you're 65 and you've never heard it before, are you gonna be like, what the heck is the county doing? So if we add starter homes,
I think that adds context to that move up,
Mhm.
single family homes then, for sure.
Yeah, if you could start.
we could add a parentheses, mid-level or mid-size.
Mhm.
So then they know we're not talking,
What if we
moving up
just-
to the big.
What if we just add before A, starter home,
Right.
and then B is move up or step up single?
Well, couldn't it say move up from single family home?
No, it'd still be a single family home.
Mhm.
Because otherwise then you have the duplex or apartment. So I was thinking though, a parenthesis after the move up, single family homes, parentheses, mid-size. Would that be too much? And then we'll have starter homes first,
You can-
I think that makes sense.
because it gives context to what the other one is. Do we need to split up accessible and affordable like we did before with the?
I don't think
affordable
so,
and-
because accessible and affordable is, like, it says they're all ages, and you have disabled people, young disabled people that are gonna need.
But accessible, affordable options covers every single
Everything.
thing on there, so I mean, that would be any
No.
size home
So it's
for affordable housing,
six families.
Or is that also, is
rental options.
that also low income housing?
Move up single family.
But we just don't wanna say low income,
Right, that's, is that accessible, affordable option, is that,
that would be low income, right?
yeah,
Even single, but it's family.
Well, I guess I don't know what D is.
Just trying to understand.
that's what we were
We
talking
just
about
talked
earlier.
about that.
We just had a public hearing on that, Brittany. So, okay, some people, I would like to start a family compound and have a nice, have my kids live in there. My one, I guess, I
And
got one.
also like if you have a mother-in-law home, or, your kid is coming back to farm and they're not ready to buy their own house yet. But they'll pay rent for it, or the other option that they're seeing more in cities when they have accessory dwelling units is rent properties. So you can rent it out, so if you have a hired hand, you could rent it, if you just have some random person that's moving into the county, there's no stipulations on who can rent it. So you could rent it to family, you could rent it to workers, you could rent it to someone who wants to live in the country, but can't afford the country. But you still wanna stay on your property, so, it's just an extra dwelling on your property where previously we only allowed one house.
Is there a limit on the acreage?
No,
The only reason I ask that is because it was not that long ago, and part of the reason that Green Mountain got, that probably $1 million septic system from it. You had to have yeah, that is Marshall, but, you had to have a minimum of 1 acre of land to have a septic system. That's, last I knew, that was state law. Has that changed?
Not in, no,
we don't create the auditor's office doesn't create parcels less than 1 acre. And you'd be running into setback issues. So, I mean, as it was mentioned in the ordinance that it has to comply with sanitation issues, so I suppose if he's like, you can't cover septic for 2 houses on this property, because it's
That
too
is a
small,
concern of mine, yeah.
that will be a sticking point where it won't get approved. But, I mean, if it works with sanitation and works with setbacks,
Sorry, it was just.
Getting back to question 10, if I'm hearing it right, we're gonna add starter homes as the first option, and then the second option will be move up single family homes or step up in parentheses, is that what we're gonna do?
mid-size.
Mid-size.
Mid-size family homes, okay?
Then it'll continue on rental option, senior housing, accessory dwelling.
Well, the only thing I'd say about accessory dwelling, if someone owns the land, it's not completely up to them whether they do an accessory dwelling. I mean, the county wouldn't. How could the county say, well, we're gonna
The
plan?
county could say we would allow more than one per property.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
it would,
we're just required to allow at least one, and we decided to stick with the one, so.
So that, does the 1 acre apply on the letter D then? The 1 acre rule?
As long as it can handle the sanitation and the setbacks. I think those would be the only things that would,
So is that a yes or a no? The 1 acre rule does apply?
yes. Yes, yes,
So I think what you're saying is going back to the, accessory dwelling unit, is there a size restriction on how large that parcel can be before you can have an ADA, or if someone has a 1/4 acre lot, they have every right to put another accessory dwelling unit on there? Is that addressed in that new?
Yeah.
Okay.
well, because an accessory dwelling unit could be an apartment over the garage.
So there is no, size limits in regards to the parcel size and the addition of accessory dwelling units?
Nope,
But it wasn't an accessory, you just mentioned like a second story apartment or something like that above a garage. I thought the accessory dwelling unit was a separate unit from, but I saw that in the definitions somewhere.
Had to have a separate opening or.
it
Yeah.
has to have separate access, so I mean, if you have an
Separate
apartment,
access.
if you have an apartment above a garage, it's gotta be able to be metered separately. And separate sanitation, it's gotta have full apartment capabilities, kitchen, all that is in there. And then it has to have exterior access. But yeah, it could be it could be attached to the primary house, it just has to be separate. So it's not like a kid staying in his bedroom that he grew up in, that's not accessory dwelling, this would be like, you could rent it out to somebody.
We move on,
Rent out an apartment.
we move on to number 12. This has been a hot topic lately, so there might be some comment on this, but
well, I would divide E into no additional utility solar and then another one, because I wouldn't lump those together.
Split up E.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's the data centers on there?
No, that's good.
These power lines coming through, they're running this big power line coming through here. Be a nice place, to put a data center right out there in the middle of nowhere, James County.
Well, I can't do it right now because we have a moratorium, but this is a 10-year plan, so, this is gonna be a really long section if we had every single thing separately.
It would be.
Data centers,
I think people could put that under other if they have a comment about it.
because otherwise we need to do support data centers and no additional data centers.
So you
Well-
don't like Scott's idea then to put it on there?
I would say data centers are flying under the radar
Yeah.
and they need to be brought to the forefront because they are the most. Them things suck up so much power.
And
They are
water.
gonna build, and make all the power they can for them, yet we aren't getting anything.
Yeah.
And our grid and everything else has been weak, and now they want these data centers for AI. And they're willing to bring back, payload and all this other stuff and leave us all behind.
Curtis,
It's interesting.
or how would you word it, Scott? Would you just,
AI data centers.
Would it be appropriate to put that on 18 as a what define the county is not addressed? Like
Oh, yes.
or like something around
It could be.
the.
It doesn't say on that.
If you go full
Yeah,
Data centers, okay.
I get that. It is definitely a thing.
All right. I missed a comment online earlier. Lisa mentioned when we were talking about move up homes. Move up home or trade up home could be described as a home that better fits a growing family or changing lifestyle. But that might be too much to include in the explanation. Are we happy with what we had or do we want to go back and try to reword that?
The only thing that would, I mean, you could always put an other there and have a comment box.
Don't we have another there? I thought we had other. on
No, we
consent.
don't.
No, we don't have it for 10.
maybe put
Do
other,
we want to add another? I can add another.
Yeah, why don't you add a
Yeah.
comment box?
Are you gonna have someone test take this after we're done? That'll be kind of your,
That'll be you.
oh, well, no, I already know what we discussed. Someone completely different, have them take it and go, I don't
That's a
understand.
good idea. Who
Yeah.
would we have like a specific?
Just any random person,
County.
just test it.
Sure.
Yeah, county board.
back to 12, how do we incorporate data centers? Just, what were you gonna say, Curtis?
So, the gentleman's idea of putting that more focused on 18, and I don't know if you wanna just simplify 12 and just call it renewable energy. Yeah, and then it's just focused on that, which data centers have nothing to do.
But
Right.
okay.
I think you're probably right because there really is no benefit for AI data centers. I mean,
It's just not renewable energy, period.
But
Would not be renewable.
battery storage, we've talked about that. We have a battery storage moratorium. Would we want to include battery storage then? Maybe not the data centers with 12, but battery storage, because that was part of the renewable, because they need, some need that for the projects. Not everybody taps into the grid like these turbines are doing.
Sure, that makes sense to fit, I guess.
Okay. We want to try to add battery storage support and
or you're gonna have to make an explanation for people that don't understand that think you're talking about AAA's.
You're just energy storage.
utility scale battery storage.
Probably might have to say that.
What'd you say?
Just energy storage.
Energy storage?
They wouldn't build the data center in Lynn County until they said they would put the nuclear in payload because they needed sustainable energy. Now, I was there when they okayed it, and there are 2 co-ops that own part of that nuclear plant, so some of it is gonna stay here. And they also had a clause in there that they could not raise their rates, which I thought was an excellent clause to put in there, and they okayed the right to put in that plant. I thought that was excellent.
NextEra is gonna own the majority of that when they're done, if they don't own it all now. And 100% of the power is supposed to go to that data center outside of Cedar Rapids.
There were 2 co-ops that own about a fourth of it or a third of it.
Yeah, NextEra owns the rest, and what I've been reading, it says they're gonna own it all before it's all over and done with. They're the ones doing the repowering.
Concentrate on 12.
Well, if we change E to say no additional utility scale solar / wind / battery storage in Tama County, and then if somebody wanted to split that up and specify, I want more wind but no solar.
I think we could just have more, I think this solar and the wind and the battery storage should be 3 separate lines in there.
For no additional?
Hmm.
You want the no additional solar, no additional wind, no additional battery storage on separate lines?
That's kind of what Berlin was saying earlier.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, I think they're pretty different things, so people might really have preference.
Energy, battery storage, energy/battery storage. Okay, and then. So we'll split up E into two separate ones and also add no additional energy energy/battery storage. And then up between B and C, add energy storage, support energy storage,
Right.
and I'll say utility scale energy storage,
Switzerland, they have these
because that'll help clear up the.
dikes up on the mountains. Or dams, and they pump the water up there, and then when they need the electric, they pump it back down, and they're 80% efficient. I couldn't believe it.
Okay, so
That's energy storage.
12, A and B will stay the same. We'll add support utility scale energy/battery storage. C will get moved down, D will get moved down. E will only be no additional utility scale solar. We'll add no additional utility scale wind, and we'll add no additional utility scale energy/battery storage, and we'll keep not sure need more information than other, please specify. That sound all right?
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Amen. Number 13.
So we have select up to 3. Does that seem reasonable or too much or too little?
Kind of like to put them in order.
What?
Kind of like to put them in order.
Order of what? Because I think I rearranged some of this already.
But you mean number them 1 to,
Oh, that kind of order. Like alphabetical, I was like, I don't know.
Prior,
Farm to industrial? I don't know. So do it more like, what we were talking about for. That, which one was it?
9.
we do the separate columns or.
9, rate it 1 through 5 in level of importance. Or 1 through 8, or however many we've got on me. Okay, so instead of.
It's only 3 that things you leave out that are.
I would want to throw out the other then,
Drop
Right.
together.
because otherwise you're gonna get a lot of people mention their other as the number 1, and none of them are gonna fit the category.
And that'll be horrible for survey results.
That would
You're
be
right.
really, really tough for students.
Okay, so removing select up to 3, removing the other, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So rate 1 through 6,
In order of importance for
1 through 6 in order of importance. Are there any rewording or anything we need to add or change for number 13 for our 1 through 6?
There's something in there about agricultural and farm businesses, but what about farmland, protected farmland? I mean,
Does it need to say access to healthcare as one of the options?
So Lisa, you mean for A, instead of strong agricultural and farm businesses, add something just for protection of farmland?
yeah.
We were talking, yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Now, this is, what strengths should Tama County build on? These are things that Tama County already, that are
Yeah.
our strengths.
But FS just moved in near me, and that's really a huge thing. So,
I drove by that on a foggy night once and it was blinding because the lights were.
oh, it's
ridiculous.
blinding all the time.
So have businesses and then also,
Have a separate one for protecting our farms.
that sound good to everyone else? Add a line for protect farmland, or we could say farmland and other conservation areas. Cause that would also be our parks and stuff.
At the rivers, parks and outdoor recreation.
Oh yeah, that's there.
Just need to make farm businesses separate.
What
Category.
about, like, Karen said, medical clinics? I mean, there's nothing in there about That's what we need.
access to healthcare.
Yeah.
But this is about strengths.
And that's not something we have to
We,
build on.
we're not strong on healthcare.
I mean, we have a great public health system.
That's why I did.
As far as other stuff.
Yeah.
Lisa, would you agree if we split A into strong agriculture and then B would be farm businesses separate, like that, would that work? So. Farm businesses. Separate, okay, so we'll separate A into strong agriculture and then separate would be farm businesses.
Thank you.
It's on 13, right?
That's on 13.
No, the comment was made about accessible healthcare, and the last 4 questions or 5, we don't have that in there anywhere, do we?
Oh, I don't.
But does that have anything to do with land use? I'm not.
No, you're-
saying that we are deficient in that by home use, but I'm just asking, the purpose of this task force is to develop land use. I mean, to me, that's more of an economic development.
Good schools and youth programs aren't part of that either, though. If this is supposed to be where people will.
This is comprehensive though, so I think it covers just a whole lot of everything.
I think that's included in what we're supposed to be reviewing. We're supposed to be reviewing housing elements and community facility element, that would be part of healthcare. Economic development is supposed to be something we're reviewing for this. I mean, whether we want to be economically developed or not, that would just be reviewing it. I could see healthcare being something we should consider on here, but I mean, that'd be like if we take out farmland for a hospital. I know David's been pushing, trying to get a hospital.
What if you, in number 15, what if we put access to healthcare as one of your,
Yeah, what makes it hard to add homes or jobs right now?
it's one of your options?
Access to health.
That might be a place to put that healthcare under 15. That sounds good.
Okay,
Yeah, it would be a good question.
access to healthcare. Well, and then they're closing all the small clinics and stuff.
Community facility development, yeah.
Oh, 9 on this, not like,
We jumped over 14, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, we did.
what?
We jumped over 14, I
we
did.
do
It's my
14.
fault. Should we look at 14 now as a group?
Sure. Are we done with 13?
I think so.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I think I'd skip that one. That's a pretty like, what? I mean, I could see if we were in a larger population center that
Like
might,
Waterloo or Ames or something.
yeah, I'm not kind of picky for us.
You 14, are you talking about 14? Oh,
Yeah.
What's anybody else think?
Well, and it's very vague with the growth. What kind of growth are we looking for? Residential / commercial / industrial?
Everybody wants to grow their downtown though, don't they, in the county? The main street?
I know, I think I agree with you, Berlin. It's kind of a question that doesn't make a lot of sense to people. Edges of cities.
I
Down to
can
the
see it if
utilities.
you're doing a city comprehensive plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Should we just take 14 out?
Or I had a little separate question earlier, so that.
Yeah.
So anybody else got a comment on 14 or should we eliminate it?
Well, I think the purpose of that is if you feel like you'd rather live in a rural subdivision or at the edge of town.
And I think it's vague too. Future growth, we're talking industrial growth, commercial growth, residential.
To me, that,
It kind of is confusing and
I think it's stay in.
Think we should keep it in? I mean, we,
Then I think you need to redo the question. I don't think the question is gonna make sense to people.
and not every question that we're surveying has to be explained in our land use plan. We could get some very mixed results where we're just like, nobody really answered that one, so we're just gonna not include it or something, but I don't think it'd hurt to ask, but yeah, we do need to clear up the question.
Yeah, because what places should, like you said, what's future growth? Like, what are we asking people with this question?
And I mean, we don't even include farmland, you know.
What if you take out places and just put what should anchor future growth?
Well, then we'd have to change all the answers too, because all the answers are places.
So, but what is the what question? Is this where people, are we asking people where they want to live? Are we asking them, we've already talked, I guess there was a question back that talked about like businesses and growth and things like that, but what is this specific question asking?
Maybe it should say, instead of anchor, basically we should build future growth.
Or encourage.
Talking about
Well,
building.
that's very similar to an earlier question. What was that question?
Hmm.
Um,
What if you said which place should encourage future growth?
Yeah,
I don't know.
number 8, where should the most new development go? And then we also have, you split it with residential, commercial, and industrials.
What were you saying, Rob, on your comment?
To me, it's like, do you annex next to the city for a future home? Or would you rather, or would you rather, build in a rural subdivision? I mean, it's asking, where would you rather live? So in zoning, you've got to address that in zoning. If everybody would rather live at the edge of town, then you would have to consider that.
So we want to make this specifically about residential growth.
Right.
That was good. To me, I read this as
Well,
growth, commercial growth or industrial growth.
Yeah,
To
all the growth.
anchor future growth, and that covers
yeah.
all of it.
Well, I know a lot of the concern in some counties like ours is not having people live here and moving out of the county. So maybe we would want to lean more towards residential growth.
I think it just needs to have a focus.
The residential growth, there should be here.
Or we could split it, we could do residential.
Areas. You wouldn't ask the fact that there's just residential growth in industrial areas or things like that, that would be there existing subdivisions or near schools and community facilities. So this,
If we split it and we did one for residential, we could take out the industrial park areas and well, we could take that one out. And then if we made the other one industrial growth or industrial and commercial growth, we could take out the existing little subdivisions.
Or
And then
does all
either-
need to be the same?
Yes,
So, and it's gonna be totally wrong, but I feel like this is kind of asking, where should the county focus its growth on to grow the whole county maybe? Is that kind of where we're getting at?
I think that's the point
I
of those.
think so.
goals.
So, kind of for Carol's question, could you just say, where should the county focus its growth?
That might be a better, that focuses the question then.
Where
Because it,
should
The county focuses growth.
yes.
because I'm thinking if you're talking about people living, who wants to live near industrial parks or highway junctions? I mean, that's not really,
And the county would cover both residential and commercial and industrial in that question. So where should the county focus its growth?
I like that better.
And then keep all the same options?
I think so.
Then that also the type of growth that you're pushing for would answer that question too, in that way. But it's,
The word, where should the county focus its growth?
Yeah.
Right?
That
That sounds
makes sense.
good.
And then we'll leave all the options. Okay. Thank you, Curtis.
Yes. 15.
Okay,
We
We're already
did
having
that.
access to
We did
healthcare.
that. yeah.
Yes,
Are we good with everything else?
I think so.
Sort.
Number 15 now.
Yes, we're on 15.
We added access to healthcare to that one.
So we're on to 16, correct?
See anything on, are we at 16?
Yes.
Schools.
Good point.
That's where we want to add healthcare too, or is that somewhere else?
That was on,
Year two.
yeah,
We could add healthcare
I
there.
mean, we have emergency services, but regular healthcare would be good also, right? So is there a way to word that so that it's very clearly separate from emergency services?
I'm not seeing emergency services. but-
Emergency services B.
16B, we're on
Does
We're
that,
16.
16.
we're on 16.
Does that include
They're
law
right.
enforcement and emergency services? That's not on here either.
What?
Is law enforcement included in emergency services?
Yes,
I would
It
say
is.
yes.
yes.
Yeah,
Do we need to specify that as law enforcement, EMS, et cetera, or just,
I think of EMS and stuff like that with emergency service.
well, when you dial 911, you always dial it just for an ambulance or do you dial it for the police?
You could put law enforcement,
Theoretically,
you could put it in parentheses, law enforcement, next to emergency services.
law enforcement, EMS, and,
EMS.
so yeah, or just law enforcement and medical.
Well, then he says fire, so
Said
that,
you want to do fire.
all emergency services.
So then do I need parentheses?
Yeah, put them in parentheses.
Law enforcement, fire, EMS, anything else? What?
You probably just put law, most people.
Yes,
Law, EMS, fire, et cetera?
Why not?
Is there another
If
one
you
that I'm
did
missing?
get it after the first couple,
Well, if we're missing one, I don't wanna say only law, EMS and fire, I mean, is that, those three good enough?
that covers most everything.
So do we wanna add
schools.
schools and healthcare?
Yeah.
Do we need to remove anything? Schools,
What's G kind of saying there?
Permitting and punishing.
When you put schools, do you want to put public schools?
public schools, yes.
Yes.
Well, it did say public services, but it'd be.
I better do it anyway, yeah.
Public schools.
I would assume permitting is like what we've all been talking
It'd
about.
be like me and Chris and whoever the new engineer is gonna be. Did y'all hear Ben resigned?
No.
Ben-
What? Who?
Ben, the engineer, he resigned.
Oh, I was thinking school, I was going to Ben Adams High School.
No.
Sorry. Really?
Other customer service would include treasurer's office,
Okay,
assessor's office.
So government
Oh,
government
oh.
services.
Government customer service, I think I put that.
yeah, I would too, or something like that.
Well, it's part of which public services need the most improvement. County customer service. Because then otherwise we're opening a whole other can of worms.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
Right.
So county permitting and customer service. Is that what cover that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
County? Everybody okay with that? All right, so we're adding county permitting customer service. So we're adding parentheses, a law, EMS and fire to be, we're adding public schools and healthcare. Does everybody kind of understand the drainage and flood control, water sewer capacity? Parks and trails, all the rest of them seem okay?
Curtis,
Recreational parks and trails?
What more do you expect them to do with schools? Every town's gonna have a new building in it or updated. There's no place else to put schools. I mean, Tama Toledo's putting up, spending their money, GR's doing their, North Tama. Every town is spending millions of dollars on schools. So I don't know what more they can do to attract people.
Well, I don't know, I kind of see this more though, where do we need to focus on and not what are our solutions right now?
Right.
Because I mean,
Well,
in the school,
It says it needs the most improvement. Well, they're spending the money, they're improving them. I don't know what else they can do. But
That's just-
whatever.
It's just buildings.
From my lens with Collaborate, not having a building, that's gonna be something that I know they would want.
Yeah, it's a sore subject. For anybody
this
that
is-
lives part of the county.
so do you remember this is for a 10-year plan, so I mean. Even if they upgrade stuff now in 10 years, stuff's still gonna need to be upgraded, so just gonna I know, maybe some people want to keep it on the forefront of their minds.
Well, you put schools in there, or just a thinking out loud.
It's all right. That's
We
what we're
already
here
get a lot
for.
of answers back, but it was all over the place, but hopefully we get a lot of responses and it'll kind of.
We go to 17.
We have a lot of options on this. I don't know if we need to pare any down and leave it all as an other, or if we're good with this.
What is downtown infill and reuse?
Downtowns that are not, that are kind of abandoned, I think maybe to revitalize. Do we want to change downtown
Is that-
revitalization? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people are gonna understand infill.
I mean, is that what everybody else kind of understands that would be revitalization, or am I totally off base? Okay, downtown revitalization.
Businesses, it won't make any difference what we do. I mean, you've got to get the people to support the small businesses.
Well, the county could,
Where they can around this.
you know, agree to like tax abatements or incentives and stuff. I mean, there's stuff the county could do to help promote that if that's something a lot of people want to promote. And same with a lot of these things.
That's true.
Just a starting place.
And it's just to see where people are concerned.
Are we good with just selecting up to 3 there? We got a lot of options there.
Well, we have 2 fewer options to select from the one.
But you had it.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
So do you wanna add, just keep them all at select up to 3?
I'd like to add one on 16, at least one.
What do you want to add to 16, Karen?
You mean make it 3?
Make it 3 instead of 2.
Yeah, let's do that.
Select up to 3?
Yes.
Okay. We can go back through at the end and make sure we have as much select as much as we want evened out later.
3 is all right for 17 too, as far as I go.
Okay,
On to 18, right?
are we good with 17? All the options on 17?
Yeah,
Almost done, last page. We've added data centers already. We discussed that earlier.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put it on here then, Laura?
Yep,
I mean, this might be picky, but if you live like Lisa does next to that FS, it is light pollution
light pollution.
and the wind turbine.
that is way too bright to be out in the country, that FS plant.
They need to refocus their lights or get some better.
They should have turned it
Well,
down.
it's a zoning issue.
No,
We don't have anything in our zoning board.
Well,
Yes,
I don't think, but you can't really do anything after the fact.
no, you can't. Right.
yes, Wes.
You got a spelling error on D, shouldn't that be policy or funding shifts?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you. Okay, for some reason, spell check was not working on this. And I don't know why. It was like, it was selected and everything and it was not working. Thank you very much. Have you guys spotted any others then besides the one I caught earlier? Funding?
There was affordable in number 10, but I think I took out that option anyway.
10?
10 being affordable.
Affordable,
No, I think we left that in there.
respell it.
Okay, I fixed the spelling, thank you.
So we're gonna add, on 18, we're gonna add data centers and light pollution. Is that something we all agree on, or?
And then we have select up to 3.
Is that enough for so many options?
Well, we have an other, so. I think
Well,
it was
you
Chris.
got lots of dilapidated properties in the small towns all around, and I don't know if it's the towns that don't want to have the owners demolish the houses or demolish the business that's falling down, that's filled with coons and rats and pestilence, but
That could be something we could address with the zoning ordinance. We only have nuisance properties for the Lake District. We don't have anything for anything else in the county. So, I mean, we could could address that in the zoning ordinance later.
You wanna make it a category, nuisance properties under what could harm the county if not
We
addressed?
could add that nuisance properties to add another category.
That work, Scott,
Yeah.
Rob, you know?
Did you say that?
Nuisance.
Just for point of clarification, are cities separate from them?
This is just the guidance for the county. We did invite cities to this. The county can't affect the zoning of it, but the county could be involved, like I said, in tax abatements over helping pair up with Toledo and Tama a lot.
It's kind of
Their
a,
economic
It's a guide.
stuff with all the other cities, so, this is supposed to be
A
kind of
guide.
sharing with economic development, like G on the back of that. So this is not going to be a law, this is a guideline. It's supposed to be guidance for any ordinance that we do, and if we go through the whole thing and we finish it and we have our land use plan, comprehensive land use plan of all the elements, it should be able to be used as a guide for the cities as well.
they don't have their own.
They could have their own. Actually, I think they're required to as part of the state code. Cause it splits it for counties and cities, they're supposed to. But, Tama has one, cause they had an undergrad do it as a project. But and I'm sure some of the big cities have one, I think Marshalltown is working on theirs. But I don't know that a lot of small towns can afford to do it. So.
Well, we're getting close on time here. Where do you wanna go from here, Laura? Do we want, I mean, we gotta decide another zoning meeting, but how do we tie in the task force? Is that a separate meeting or do we run them together again or?
As long as I have all your emails, I think I've got, Patrick, do you want me to add you to the list so you can save all?
Sure.
Okay, and then Scott, would you and Jackie like to be added to the list to be emailed for involved?
What do you mean, to be on the team
Yeah,
and make the decisions and all that kind of stuff?
yeah, when we get the survey back to help us review the results, that kind of thing.
Well, I'll come back and help you review. the
Everybody else, I have your emails. If I make these revisions and I send them out, then you guys can all
results.
make sure I don't have any additional spelling errors. Or if you're like,
Gotta review them.
yeah, just to make sure I didn't screw up something we talked about, or, oh, no, those age ranges sounded stupid, take those out, take it. Something like that. We could cut out a meeting by just having a review of that and be like, yeah, go ahead and send out a test survey or something. You mentioned test survey. Should we do that before we like get results back? How many do you want to test survey with? Sample size? I believe with the 2020 census.
Oh, gosh, I just mean like, give it to 3 county employees and they'll go, I don't understand this question, or.
Okay, so not like a percentage of.
No,
Okay.
no.
I can do county employees. sure.
Yeah. And maybe also time it, so you could put on the start of this, it's
Approximately.
5 minutes or 10 minutes to take the survey.
Reset.
Okay, yeah, okay, so I'm
Try to do that.
the survey.
Idea, you know, have some youngsters fill it out.
I like that.
Tested. County. Employees, I might grab my mom and a couple other relatives. Please, okay.
Well, you could do that.
Would you guys,
You might not have any.
The idea was going back here too, as far as taking it to the school to like, the senior
for testing or
Have a
for
couple
what?
seniors take it.
for testing.
For testing?
Yeah, just check
You
it.
think they would take it again when we actually want results back?
Depends on how stupid they think it was first time.
All right. All right. Well, it doesn't hurt to give them have a,
Supposed to bring up ideas so we can write them.
Yeah.
right, they're the future.
Sometimes they ask the same question, you know, they just to get things to go along with it.
I can maybe run it by, I don't know. North Tama or, I mean, I'm gonna be there at the end of this week. See if one of their social studies classes would wanna do it or something, just to test for us. Would you guys want to all meet together again to discuss this before we try to send it out, or does anybody know a lot about SurveyMonkey that would be willing to help us out with that? Otherwise, there's gonna be a learning curve on my part, but
Yeah, how do we go about distributing this survey? That's the question.
I'd say when we figure out the digital part, we drop it for about a month. Once we drop it, then we all kind of grab a stack and deliver some hard copies around the county where we think people would be most likely to get them if they're not computer
Savvy.
Whizzes.
aficionados.
I can help you create a QR code for it. This is Stacy, by the way.
Stacy, thank you.
Get it ready.
That would be great. So we have a QR code we could send out to,
Yes.
Stacy, we probably also need a link though, because I know some people do computers but not QR stuff. We have to do
Can help
QR
with
code,
both.
do the link,
Said
Well,
you'd help
if you
with
go
both.
through SurveyMonkey, they're gonna give you a link.
and then she'd help me do the QR code.
Yeah.
Okay, I do not know how long it'll take to figure that out. Would you mind killing that?
Someone will have to enter the data from all the handwritten ones then too.
Pick them all up, or they put them in a box, or how does that go? I mean, if you take 20 of them to the nursing home in Traer and set it on there,
I
it's
could
a
see
survey for anybody.
My contact information with whoever, with dropping it off, and they could let me know and I could swing by and pick them up when they have a stack that they want picked up. Yeah, we wouldn't wanna make people mail it, I guess.
Right.
That'd be too much.
Karen's got a comment in the back.
Well, both of us back here, three of us are wondering about 18B, unmanaged, should it say urban sprawl versus rural sprawl?
Farm ground to, park or super.
That one came over from a previous one,
I'm not
so
entirely sure.
I think they originally meant rural sprawl. But
That doesn't make sense,
it
though.
doesn't make sense for us.
Put urban in there? Yes.
Big problem. Go out of production. Going for other use of the apartments or commercial, it's better place to problem.
Urban sprawl. Yes, I can see changing that. Any objections?
And then my number two thing,
All right,
a really good place to put a stack of hard copies would be at churches. I'm not kidding. And there's so few churches now that it would be easy to monitor and pick up.
all right. So adding two more, I think we're taking one of these other please specify off of here. We're adding two more questions. I can still try to squeeze it on, so it's only a 4-page front and back for the hard copy. I can run those off here when we're ready to drop it electronically. I can probably run those off quick and just send out an email to everybody on this list and say, hey, can I drop these with you? Can you stop by Toledo? And then, yeah, we'd wanna have the timeline listed. I can print off a sheet that we send with it so people can post the sheet above the survey, it says turn this in by whatever date. If you have questions, contact my office, yeah.
Do you have like?
Is there a-
When is it going to?
I'm only working tomorrow for the rest of this week.
To the public, I mean.
I know, I'm trying to think of what I.
June, spring, summer, I could try to get some things out to people that can do regulars, like an 8%, if you do a lot of events.
Well, it depends on how late we want to push it.
So my kid is coming up from Cedar Falls and the roads are so great.
They're on their site, the
Hold on a sec, two people are talking. Well, let's,
Sorry,
I think you started first.
I'm sorry. I just was gonna say, you mentioned the survey. Are you thinking about doing that on the county website, having a link where, the general public, those that are computer savvy?
I would probably put a link, I would create a public notice with a link like I do for our meetings and stuff. That's the best place I found to post stuff. That's where I put our ADU ordinance. So we put it there. I checked with Michelle if we just had link somewhere. She knows the website better than us. And then, we push it out. I'd ask all the, Karen's got a list of people with county social medias that she could probably help us out with. She says the county has not done a full county survey before, so we are breaking new waters right here. Does anybody have other suggestions for that besides the link and? Sure.
This stuff they would fill out on the computer and hit submit.
Yeah. And then the hard copy would just be for those that are like, I'm not
Right.
touching it or something, so. And then, nursing home people, they don't always have access or agility for computers. We want to probably drop the stack off at all the nursing homes. Just Traeger and Toledo, right? In Toledo?
In nursing.
Nursing.
Glad.
Glad got them.
Oh, yeah.
We need to wrap this up and set a new meeting date,
We do.
next meeting date.
My daughter just texted, she's coming from Cedar Falls and she said the roads are icy.
Yeah, I can email out and see if anybody just answered back. Yeah, I can help you out with something like that.
Do we focus our next meeting with this group, Laura, or do
Sure, we
we,
could, yeah,
we won't have the surveys out by our next meeting though, will we?
we won't. Probably not.
We'll have some test surveys out maybe.
We'd have the test surveys out. I could get the test surveys back. Like I said, thinking about when I could work on it next week. You could possibly plan to drop it on February 2nd. And then since February is a short month, maybe make it due by March 6th. Give an extra week. Try for that, do a 5 week survey.
Do you think you can have it ready that soon?
No. But I
Well,
can do my
then
best.
be realistic.
I mean,
Still in middle of winter here, so don't overwork
you
yourself.
don't want to push it off too far though. So,
Right.
I will try for the last week of January. I can definitely get out sample surveys. I could take some with me to North Tama. I'm subbing this week, so I could take some with me Thursday, Friday. See if they'll help us
Some
out.
test surveys,
Yeah,
all right.
and, do county people this week with test surveys. That'd be a quick fix to add what we changed. Do that tomorrow. As far as the Survey Monkey thing, like I said, I'd never done that before, so that might take me a little while to get into it, the formatting.
Can we meet on Tuesdays again, folks, on the zoning board? Or does that work for,
Wednesday always seemed to work well, but
I gotta avoid the third Wednesday of the month for school board is all. We
Yeah.
switched our nights from Monday to Wednesday
Oh.
to accommodate someone else, so.
First Wednesdays, please.
I'm fine with whatever we choose.
You're fine with anything?
Yeah.
Wait, you gotta check with the home office.
What, how far out I got a picture of the calendar, but yeah.
it would have to be at least,
Second week of February, all right?
Week of February.
All right, Laura,
Looks good.
like the 9th through the 13th?
Tuesday.
we can't do the 12th. We have a Board of Adjustment meeting on the
Oh,
12th.
wait, Tuesday, the second week of February would be just 10.
10th would be a Tuesday, February 10th would be a Tuesday.
Uh,
How's that look to you, Laura?
Just let us know.
February 10th. You get there?
I should be.
It's okay? Okay. I mean, bye.
That on a Tuesday, the 10th?
Yes, Laura's checking it out on her schedule right now.
I'm
I
checking.
don't care. Here,
All right, we can't expect everybody to make every meeting.
I know, and I'm one of those that, you don't actually need.
Oh, you've had a lot of good input tonight.
Well, we got the, as far as the rest of figuring out a timeline, we could do that at our next meeting. It would be things like compiling history, it would be reviewing topography of the maps, explaining, what our farmland is. There's a lot of stuff all over this.
So if you haven't had a chance to look at a comprehensive land use plan,
Look one between now
Yeah.
and next meeting.
and I think your letter that had the Story County one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And that's a pretty nice
look
one.
at one. I think Buchanan County had one. There are a handful out there, if you search for a few. If you find something in any of them where you're like, I wouldn't mind taking point on that, by all means, let us know.
Good point.
Or if you're like, I'd be willing to help with this one, but I don't wanna take point on it, that's okay too. We can't really move forward with a lot until we get the survey results back though, so that's why I don't wanna wait too long on the survey. When we get the survey back, we'll need to probably all get together to help break it down and figure out what our responses are. Probably wanna be small groups of responses. Okay, both does not, or it was at the
10th, well, we're working on the 10th.
10th does not work for Karen.
Karen. Oh, of the meeting here.
Yeah.
How about the 11th then? That's,
You Wednesday.
It was,
I asked her previously, the 11th should work.
Because the only one, the 18th would work for you, correct? 'Cause
Right.
that's a third.
At the 11th, are we thinking 11th might work?
okay.
you're gonna have to make another call, Wade. Home office.
And she said they do it with yours. So
Oh, for the 11th as well? All right.
With those,
So make your announcement for next meeting date before you bang on it.
I'm just getting anxious.
Yeah, I know it.
All right, so does 11th work for you guys?
Yeah, works for you, Carol.
Jody, does 11th work for you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be going very far.
So let's set the next meeting for February 11th, a Tuesday. No,
Wednesday.
a Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Let me.
PM, you're gonna check with Karen.
So, I mean, we could work on. If the survey's out, we definitely won't be done with it. So it'll depend on if we want to make that a task force meeting and work on the timeline, or if we just want to work on the wind ordinance that we haven't touched in a while. What do you guys want to do? Wait for task force until after we get the survey back?
so the land use plans, we saw those 100 page ones, the first 25 or 30 pages were always like county history and maps and things like that. And that doesn't take any survey coming back or anything, that's just stuff that's there
Right.
and how that gets put together, and that's
And
not.
what we want to include.
So should we just take it part of someone's comprehensive plan and look and make notes and figure out what we want to do with it?
If we had one of those good ones and then we just copied that one, so if we put Tama County, like the maps of Tama County and where they have the maps, then they'd have stuff about the Tama County history. And
So we'll make it a task force meeting. Okay. Yes.
We talked about this last year, but something is going to need to go into the newspaper so that people have a heads up that this is coming out and then it's important. At some point. Somehow. I mean, ads aren't that expensive. I'd be glad to take one over to Marshall and do it this way.
Article about what's going on.
Let it in
There
there.
you go.
Smile.
Put on your best smile, Scott.
Huh?
You want me to take it? So you-
No,
So we'll call it the 11th at 6 o'clock. It'll be a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And we'll make it a task force meeting.
All right. And if other things come up between now and then, we'll add it to zone,
And we will have our sample back by then.
our test.
Sample size, yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, would you guys like me to wait until we hear back about the samples and everything? So not try to push it out before then? I can do that.
Laura, would you stand up and kind of, so I can get you in the picture? It's really neat, really.
Yeah, don't you?
Well, otherwise it just, it looks really,
I'm
silly.
part of that.
Laura, it looks really silly. They're all looking at it and I can't, that doesn't,
What do
you know
you
what they're looking at. Just get closer and look like you're talking to them.
Okay.
You're talking.
No closer.
A little closer.
So,
We'd like you all to come back. Thank you for coming. Really, are you done yet?
Just kind of look my way. Just
Now you have to look at her, because she has, oh,
Okay, zoning board members. I don't-
All right.
One comment, if anybody wants to look ahead on data for Tama County, there's an excellent website, maybe people know it. It's the Iowa State Extension. It's called Data for Decisions. And it's a county, and then it breaks down into county and then to cities in Tama County. Okay? And it's done by the Iowa State Extension Service. Okay, that's where I get a lot of my information.
Data for decisions,
Yeah,
Extension website.
on the Iowa State Extension Office.
I like to.
good.
And it's full of information on the county.
Thank you all again for attending tonight. We won't call it an official task force list, because I do know a couple of the people that couldn't make it tonight that were interested. But we will call it, an email list.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
There's a second.
I second.
No more discussion. We're adjourned.
Bye.